Mm-mm-mm. Splash out. What up? What up? Thanks for joining. Hopefully you can hear me. I always like to do a sound check whenever I get on this thing just to make sure you guys can hear me all right. Rob Burnett, what's up? Hope you're doing all right. So I decided to do a Dr. Stat 732. What's up? Decided to do a live stream for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's been a while since the last live stream. I think the last one that I did was during the Bears game, and I think that was either Sunday night or Monday night. I think it was a primetime game, but it's been a minute. And number two, instead of doing a podcast, because with free agency happening right now, anything can happen at a moment's notice. So I could upload a video pod, and with I don't know, 3 minutes left before it goes public, oh, something might actually happen. So um, wanted to get your thoughts on this. We're going to talk about Vikings free agency talk, but also the Danielle Hunter situation, because I saw the tweet from Chad Graff, and it says, and I'm summarizing it here. Danielle Hunter, he's unhappy. He doesn't like his contract. He could be looking at multiple different options, including a trade request. So I talked about this, I want to say a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, that this was something that was brewing. But could you not pick a worse time to want a new contract? We're talking about a dude coming off, missed the entire 2020 season off of a neck injury, and you want to be the highest paid defensive player in the league. My thing was, I think it's fair for him to play out 2021 and then say, okay, if you ball out, if you're the same guy that you were before, that we know and love, that we've expected you to be, then we'll rip up the contract. We'll make you the highest paid player. No questions asked. But to do it now, if push comes to shove, if these are the only two options, oh, you better pay me all this money, pay me all the dough. Who's his agency? Actually, you know what? I think, what is it? Elite Fam? Hold on. Because Danielle Hunter, he tweeted out something. I guess there was rumblings about him possibly switching up his agency, and he sent out a tweet. Let's see, hashtag Elite Fam for life, for the record, rolling eyes emoji. So his agency, this is just the worst timing. If push come to shove, I'm not taking the risk. There's no way in hell that I'm paying this dude, what, 25 mil a year or whatever the hell the average value would be. There's no way I'm paying all that money to hopefully have him come back and be healthy and be ready to go. That's too big of a risk. So if those are the two options, pay up or trade me, listen, this may be an unpopular take, but you have to trade him. You have to. Only if, and in fact, let me ask you guys out there. Let me go through a couple of your guys' thoughts. Would you trade Danielle Hunter, keep him for whatever he wants, or trade him? And if you are in the trade Danielle Hunter camp, what do you want in return? Because listen, bro, I'm on the trade Danielle Hunter bandwagon right now. If this is what it comes down to, unless you can talk some sense into him, just saying. We'll talk Vikings free agency too. They've missed out on, goodness, quite a few Joe Tooney and all that stuff. Which, by the way, Shamar Stephen live watch is still on the team with his bum ass. Nah, I'm sure he's a good dude. He's just not really good, even though Andre Patterson says he's good. He's one of the reasons why Eric Kendricks was a Pro Bowler and All-Pro linebacker. Okay. Some of your thoughts. Rob Burnett up in Canada, and we love Randy. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. Lucas's Stash says, bro, I'm scared. I'm not. It would suck. It would suck for him to go, and he does turn out to be that guy, the all-pro, all-world talent Danielle Hunter that we know of him to be. But there's just everything in business is about risk and reward. There's way too much risk here that outweighs the potential reward. So I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No way. I need to see it first. It's like Kevin Hart in that stand-up. I want to see it. Skull Nation says, literally have Tom Pelissero's Twitter account pulled up in the background. Oh, yeah, that's another thing, too. So I said this at the beginning. The reason why I'm doing the live stream instead of a podcast right now, if any move does ultimately happens that's permanent, such as we sign X player or we traded Danielle Hunter, then I'll do a podcast. But I just didn't want to. There's a lot of work that goes, and I'm not going to bore you with the details, but there's a lot of prep that I do with these shows to where once it's finally uploaded, I don't want to upload it and then all of a sudden news breaks and then that video is all of a sudden irrelevant. So I actually have my Twitter feed up and I'm refreshing it like every 5 minutes, seeing if there's any news. And so far, nothing. Okay. Some more thoughts. Anybody in the trade Danielle Hunter camp? Aiden Roberts says Vikings haven't done a damn thing today, and I'm not surprised. So it's a good question. Actually, not a good question. Good statement. Normally, I would say, all right, Vikings, they're not doing shit. What the hell is their problem? This is inexcusable. What are you doing? But I've been thinking about this for the last hour or so, ever since the Danielle Hunter news came out. What percentage would you say that it's the Vikings just not or being too cheap to go after players, which, by the way, Joe Thuney, 5 years, 80 mil. That's what, 16, an average of 16 mil a year. It's a little too steep, too rich for my blood. But what percentage would you say that it's the Vikings? They're just being too cheap. They're not doing anything. Or can they only spread their resources so far? Are they really just saying, okay, Danielle Hunter's pissed off. We have to now focus on him instead of the players that we were trying to go after? That's a legit question that I'm thinking right now, because that's a tough position to put Rick Spielman in. Let's see. Emmer33 says Tooney's gone. I love Lamp. Yep, he's gone to the Kansas City Chiefs, which, by the way, I saw some of y'all dudes in the comment section when I did that video. Vikings should go after Joe Thuney. Some of y'all were getting spicy, man. Joe Thuney, what? That's not how you pronounce his name. It's Joe Thuney, man. I looked it up. Nesson, that's the New England Sports Network. I think that's how you correctly say the acronym. Tom Pelissero said it today. I know when we traded for Yannick Ngakoue, I butchered that dude's name like it was no tomorrow. I said Yannick Ngakoue. But I did research, looked it up. It's Joe Thuney. Yeah, he's gone. RMR33. I love Lamp. Next. Boom. Rich the Champ says Vikings aren't picking up any big names like usual. LOL. Thuney and Zeitler gone already. Well, I mean, I don't know if the crazy thing is Joe Thuney's getting a shit ton of money for going to the Kansas City Chiefs, for going to a Super Bowl contender. So who knows what he would have been like. All right, if I'm going to go to the Vikings, what, 17? A little more than that? I don't know, man. Boom. Elijah Duarte. Hope I said your last name correctly. I just find it hard to believe we are keeping Barr and are having any serious thoughts of trading Hunter or not giving him what he wants. The team can't be that stupid, right? Barr, if it was up to me, he would have been gone a long time ago. You get out the next 2 years, 15.6 mil. And then in 2023, it's about 18, a little over 18 mil in dead, or not dead cap, but a cap hit. So you get out of that. He's still on the team. I've always said, if he's going to be on the team, whatever, I don't care. Just the cap hit just can't be high. And even though his cap hit is, 9.4 right now, that's still a little bit too high for me. But you escape the next 2 years. As far as the second point you made, you can't believe that the Vikings are having any serious thoughts of trading Hunter. What else are they supposed to do? He wants more money. He's coming off neck injury. What are you going to take that risk? You're going to do it? And then what happens? He comes back. Oh, we're paying him $25 million a year. And then, he doesn't get cleared, or something happens in week 1. I know football is definitely the most dangerous professional sport out there. Baseline. But a dude that is in the trenches, where, I mean, sometimes you get illegal hands to the face where offensive linemen go push up to the chin up here. Neck, man, What are they supposed to do? Hey, talk him into it. I want to see it this year. Talk some sense into him. If you're Rick Spielman, if you ball out, bro, we will pay you whatever it is that you want. He's the best when healthy. He's the best edge rusher in the game when healthy. No questions asked. But I need to see it again. D&D season, y'all. Dennison and Dozier laughing my ass off. This is Angel Dust Senior. That's funny. We might have Dakota Dozier. Just bring it back. Left guard. No big deal. Although I will say, actually, let me get into this real quick because these were the next two topics as far as free agency in general. So Zeitler's gone. Joe Tooney's gone. So as far as the notable guards still out there, I took a screenshot of this. Please hold. We've got Trey Turner, Denzel Good, Gabe Jackson, John Miller, Nick Easton, Kelechi Osam. I'm gonna destroy this dude's name. Kelechi Osemele. Believe he was with the Chiefs last year, if I'm not mistaken. Richie Incognito, which, I mean, after that whole situation where he was like, F you, Mike Zimmer, you're a effing liar. I think Zimmer's got too much of a grudge to let that happen. And then Dakota Dozier. And then, hey, Tom Compton, he's out there. Maybe you can bring him back. I will say this, though. The question that I now have is that now, taking aside the Danielle Hunter situation and, are you having to pay attention to him primarily? So that takes away the attention of what you would do on free agent players that you want to sign. Now with Zeitler, Tooney gone, is the focus of free agency going to be, as far as the majority of the dollars, is that going to be on defense now? And if it is, on one hand, I can see where you would say something like, oh, typical Zimmer, influencing Rick Spielman. I want defense, defense, defense. So I saw reportedly outside of Joe Tooney, the Vikings, they have been interested in cornerback from the Seattle Seahawks, Shaquille Griffin. So if they were to sign him, and I think we're good with our corners. We've got Cam Dantzler, Jeff Gladney. I believe we still have Chris Boyd, Mike Hughes, even though, that I feel like this is his last year with the Vikings. Harrison Hand, he's still there, but whatever. I still think we're fine with cornerbacks, but if you were to bring in Shaquille Griffin, that'd be sick. So you're talking about, and I'm guesstimating here, a battle between Dantzler and Shaquille Griffin for CB1. Whoever loses their CB2, Jeff Gladney in the slot, and then bring in Mike Hughes in situational downs. That would be sick because Shaquille Griffin, he can play. And then also, I saw this. So after I posted that reaction video of the bar restructure and the news of Vikings free agency, we'll see what happens. I saw later on, stepped out the house. Almost immediately, Vikings are also interested in Trey Hendrickson. And I said, what? Really? So the interesting thing about Trey Hendrickson is going back to Vikings versus Saints preview. What was that, week 15, 16? Can't remember when that was. Going back to that preview and watching film on the Saints players, and when I talked about the Saints defense, the guy that, stood out the most to me, that just popped off the screen, was legit Trey Hendrickson. Dude has a motor. He's got energy. Yo, he would be a force if we have Danielle Hunter. Pair Trey Hendrickson with Danielle Hunter, he would be a force. And the crazy thing is, what's the dude's name? Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan plays primarily on left end against opposing teams' right tackles. Trey Hendrickson is going up, or he's playing right end going up against opposing teams' left tackles. This dude can play. He is a real baller. In fact, let me bring up this dude's stats real quick. I think he had all of a sudden a pop-up year last year out of nowhere, but still. All right, so 2019, he went from 4.5 sacks to, in 2020, 13.5 sacks. Yo, this dude can play. I'm telling you right now, that would be a beast move if they were to do that. If you were to pair those two together, Trey Hendrickson and Danielle Hunter, that'd be sick. I don't even think that he ended up playing in that game. I think somehow, some way he was on the injury report, and I was a little bit bummed to see him not play, but between Hendrickson and Griffin, I like them both. Hendrickson, 100%. And assuming you can bring back Danielle Hunter, check off defensive end in the draft, at least for day one and day two. So the point that I'm getting at is if you are to say, we're going to take the majority of our free agency cash or our salary cap that we have right now and spend it on defense. Normally I would say, oh my God, are you kidding me? What about the offensive line? But if Zimmer, which, I mean, if you're supposed to be a defensive guru and cornerbacks whisperer and, you know, you're this great, which he is, I'm not trying to take that away from him, but I can see a situation where he's saying to himself, damn it, last year we had so many rookies, so many injuries. I don't want to have to waste my time having to teach dude how to be professional football players. I want veterans, those that know how to play the game. So let's spend our money on defense in free agency. And Clint Kubiak, you deal with the rookies. You spend time with those dudes. So if that is the case, you spend all your money on defense, you go offense in the early rounds in the draft. So let's say you trade back from 14 in the first round down to wherever the hell, trade back and go after, say, Elijah Vera Tucker, and you trade back up into the second round and you're to get a Wyatt Davis. You address the offensive line through the draft. I'm good with that too, just as long as you address both sides of the trenches, not just one. Excuse me. All right. What more do we have right now? Okay, so we got a few. Rex Kettle says, whoa, Randy went robot voice on us. Yeah, just happens sometimes. DJ Duddy says 2 firsts, 1 early pick, 1 late pick, get a young quarterback for the future, and draft a defensive end. So is this what you would want for Danielle Hunter? Elaborate, if you will. I would trade. Julian Watron says Hunter to the Dolphins for 3 and 18. Ooh, I'd want a third too. I'd want a third. I'd want a third round pick. I'd want the Khalil Mack trade haul, just because Danielle Hunter has been better than Khalil Mack so far in the first 5 years that they played. Comparing each other, Khalil Mack, he just played in his 6th season, if I'm not mistaken. Danielle Hunter, he was hurt. I'd want, but then again, pick 3. You might be on to something. Maybe I would take that, because 3, that's pretty damn high. Oh, you can get real spicy with that pick. You know what? I'm on board. 3 and 18, done deal. DJ Duddy says, yes, my man. That's what I'm saying. So going back, 2 firsts, 1 early pick, 1 late pick, get a young quarterback for the future, and draft a defensive end. In theory, sounds nice. As long as we have this current head coach, I don't want a new quarterback. I just don't. There is no point in drafting a young quarterback with Mike Zimmer as head coach of this team. There's literally no point. He hates quarterbacks. He hates offense. And then we're going to go through Clint Kubiak. I think he's going to do a very fine job next season. Clint Kubiak, if he does well, guess what? He's leaving. He's going somewhere else. And we're going to rotate through offensive coordinators like it's no tomorrow. So in theory, it's nice. Get a young quarterback. Oh, that'd be great. But then there's going to be, for as much as we want to talk about continuity, there's going to be no continuity with shuffling offensive coordinators left and right. Not for a young quarterback. You can't have that if you're going to draft a young quarterback. Timothy Stewart says, pay a guard. Yeah, that ship has sailed. That ship, all of the high quality guards, they are gone. Anthony Cormier says, so, with like 10 O's, let me get this right. You don't want to pay him this year because of the injury, but you want teams to give 2 first-round picks? You damn right. Yes, I do. Because Danielle Hunter, he's a hot commodity. And if he were to bounce back and be healthy, then that's a great return. If you trade him with the idea you know what? I don't think he's going to come back, and he's going to have some struggles with that neck injury. And okay, you get, let's say, 1 first-round pick and a 5th or something like that, and he actually does turn out to be great again. That's going to look terrible for the Vikings. So yeah, I don't want to pay shit right now, but if I'm forced to trade Danielle Hunter, I want everything. Give me the farm. You damn right. 2 first-round picks and a 3rd. That is, unless going back to, God goodness, I can't find you. That said 3 and 18. Was that Timothy Stewart? 3 and 18. That'd be legit with the Dolphins. Jacob Cook says, get a quarterback out of your mind. Zim and Spielman, they are married to cousins. Yeah, that too. And besides, I would imagine that the Wolf brothers, that they're saying, all right, if you've invested all this money and time into Kirk Cousins, to suddenly shift it away, unless you're going after a Deshaun Watson, which, by the way, let's say, and this is just pie in the sky. I saw this on Twitter. I don't know who this was from, but the idea of, hey, Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter for Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't say no to that. And in fact, if I were the Wolf brothers, I wouldn't even say, well, you know, you traded Kirk Cousins and you invested all this time and money and energy into him. So now that you've traded him, you're fired. I would be like, all right, Rick Spielman, you tip of the cap. Andy Y says, I think the Vikings should restructure Hunter like they did with Barr. If he balls out this year, he can get paid next year. Well, that's what I've been saying, but apparently he doesn't want to do that. He wants to get paid right now. Right now. No stipulation of, oh, we'll see what happens this year. He wants the money right now, which could not be worse timing. Human Being says, hey. Skull Gamer 14 says our Super Bowl window is shut or slammed in our face. If we lose Danielle Hunter, and one could argue that our window is already going like this right now. If we lose Danielle Hunter, and assuming he bounces back, then that's a huge loss, unless you get a nice haul. Cam Demand says move Ezra to left tackle and draft the guard. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. In fact, the only reason you drafted Ezra Cleveland is because you missed out on Trent Williams. So why would you do that? Why would you draft Ezra Cleveland? You missed out on Trent Williams and say, you know what we're going to do? I've got a fantastic idea. We're going to play you at guard. It doesn't make sense. Just draft the guard. See what else we got. Daniel Sharp says trade D Hunter right now. In fact, you know what? That reminds me. Let me go back to my Twitter feed to see if anything else has changed. Any news? Okay. Breaking news right now. Realistic Randy YouTube channel. The breaking news is, this is according to Brett Tesler. He's an agent for Rashad Hill. He says, happy to announce that my client Rashad Hill will be returning to the Minnesota Vikings on a 1-year, fully guaranteed contract, despite multiple offers elsewhere. So Rashad Hill, he is coming back. And based on how the Vikings operate, Ezra Cleveland will remain right guard, and Rashad Hill, he will be your new starting left tackle. We'll see. But other than that, it doesn't look like anything else has happened so far. Let's see some of your thoughts. Let's see. Jacob Cook says, conspiracy theory. Hunter knows his back is hurt badly, and he wants to get as much guaranteed money as possible. It's certainly possible. I wouldn't dismiss any conspiracy theory right now when it comes to this situation, because it literally makes no sense. In fact, when he signed his current contract, it was kind of like the Stephon Diggs contract, where he said, man, the Vikings, they're kind of getting away with this with the steal here because they should get a lot more than what they signed for. But this is just terrible timing. Thomas Lee, what's good, Randy? What's up, Thomas? How you doing, man? Nathaniel says, get him out of here. I'll take the Mac deal. Easy peasy. 100%. If he ain't going to budge, there's nothing to talk about. I love Danielle Hunter. You love him. We all love Danielle Hunter. But at some point, risk reward, baby. This is risk. This is reward. And the risk is like, actually, no. No, because risk way more. That's terrible. More thoughts. Boom, 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 boom. DJ Duddy says Kwity Paye won't be there anymore at 18. Well, if you get Trey Hendrickson, there's no need for Kwity Paye. There's no need for Greg Rousseau, Jalen Phillips, none of those dudes. None of them. That is assuming you bring back Danielle Hunter too. Because if you don't, then I don't know. Positivity Man says, Randy, what you think about the Joe signing? I'm assuming you're talking about Joe Tooney. It's a little bit too rich. And that's a rich contract going to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a team where, I mean, you would imagine, or at least I would imagine, that you would take a little bit less than your market value because, hey, guess what? You're going to compete for championships every single year. He didn't. 16, an average of $16 million a year, 5 years, $80 million. Imagine what he would have charged the Vikings to sign there. Let's see. Bum. Kalon Pepper says, I think we let Zimmer go. He isn't making us any moves to make us contenders. Well, Rick Spielman is making the moves, in fairness to Mike Zimmer. And at this point, if they were to fire Zimmer, it would have happened a long time ago. We're way too deep in to all of a sudden say, okay, let's fire the head coach. But after the next season, in fact, I'm actually concerned, or not concerned. I'm actually convinced that Mike Zimmer he's going to be on the team as long as he wants to, until he decides that he wants to retire, just because of continuity. Let's see. Yannick coming back. Oh God. Oh goodness. I don't know. I think I'm over that situation. Even though he wasn't bad with us, more of a pass rusher than a run stopper. A couple of y'all are saying Ngakoue to the Raiders. Is that official? Did that actually happen? Let me refresh the Twitter feed here. Nothing yet. I don't see anything like that. Let's see. KP, do you think we will sign any top tier free agents? Shaquille Griffin and Trey Hendrickson, they're still out there. So if you sign one of them, then yes. Otherwise, I actually wouldn't even be surprised if we just go all in on the second wave, both on offense and defense. Angel Dust Sr. says, thoughts on Easton, Griffin, and Rhodes. I don't want Nick Easton back. I'm not in the camp of let's bring that old thing back. And he was nice for us in 2017. I think that was the last year he played for us. But I feel like we really need a stronger left guard than to say, okay, let's bring back someone that's familiar with our system. He was okay, decent. The next player you said, Griffin, Shaquille Griffin. I'd like to have him if you can't bring Trey Hendrickson in. And then Rhodes, Xavier Rhodes. Nah, I think that bridge is burned. I think based on how spicy Rhodes was talking, I don't. And Zimmer, he's not willing to adjust. So in Indy, they did a lot more zone schemes for Xavier Rhodes because that fits his style of play now. He's a lot slower now. So playing in space and just focusing on the quarterback instead of playing man on man and looking at your assignment and following him, it doesn't work for him anymore. And Zimmer, he's not going to adjust. So Griffin, yes. Easton and Rhodes, no. Hairfine says, "Oh boy, we got Rashad Hill back. We're saved." All caps. I know. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, this is a real good question from Tiny Monkey. Tiny Monkey says, "Randy, are you scared that if we keep managing and being this bad of a caliber team, then all our good players will leave, like JJ and Dantzler in the future?" Yes. Yes, I am. I think we've seen when it comes to Stephon Diggs, the way he went about it, that's one of those things where I'm just like, what was that song? I don't know who sung this song, but it goes something like, now you're just somebody that I used to know. I used to love Diggs. Went to Maryland. He's from my area, the DMV. I love this dude, man. I was singing his praises. Oh, he's the next Antonio Brown. And turns out he is best receiver in all football, statistically speaking. But now, the way he went about it, I was just like, oh, whatever, dude. Like, yeah, thanks for the memories, but whatever. Anyway, that's a whole different tangent. Adam Thielen complaining about the coaching after the Bears game in 2019 at Soldier Field. We have Danielle Hunter right now. The way Xavier Rhodes was talking when he left, apparently something is happening enough to where there's smoke, there's fire. I think Mike Zimmer, in fairness to him, and I talked about this actually with Tom Grossi, the Packers YouTuber, great channel, very funny guy. He puts up great stuff. But I was telling him about this. I think Mike Zimmer I think he's best when he's the new kid on the block. When he shows up and, a team that's just soft and they need to get whipped into shape. I think Zimmer is best in those situations to be the new guy. I think as time goes on and he's the consistent head coach, at some point that old, oh, it's my way or the highway and this is what I want, and like eventually dudes are going to get pissed off from it. So guys like Justin Jefferson and Cam Dantzler right now, they're young whippersnappers, first year. And it's great. The limelight, they're getting praises. They're popular. They have like 200,000 followers on Twitter. And this is great. This is new, different from college. But then they're going to get older. They're going to have more experience in the pros. And then I would say, yes, it is a concern to keep in the back of your head as time goes on. Yeah, everyone's saying Yannick got signed by Vegas. Oh, I see it. Okay. Wait. Not official, but I see it by Ian Rappaport. Ravens pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue is close to a deal with the Raiders. So close to a deal. So basically it's going to happen. Unless he pulls an Anthony Barr and is like, all right, I'm going back. Going back to the Raiders. Let's see. Who else do we have? Mr. Time says, "Hey, Randy, to be honest, I don't think we will land anyone. I really don't. I don't know what's going to happen. I think you have to land someone. I mean, hey, you brought back Rashad Hill, baby. Oh, yeah. Big splash. You got to go after somebody. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, but I would imagine that they're spending their resources focused on keeping Danielle Hunter happy right now, which may take away from their ability to go after free agents they want to sign. Let's see. The Rant Man says, Kirk isn't getting any younger. I wonder what we'll do when Kirk is gone in a few years. I have no idea. I would imagine if this doesn't work out, whenever Kirk is gone, I would imagine Zimmer is gone too. And then we're just going to do a complete reboot. New head coach, new quarterback, somebody, because clearly we don't give a damn to bring in a backup quarterback to nurture to eventually take over as the starter, as it was reported that there's a good chance that Sean Mannion comes back. So actually, that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Another big free agent signing after Rashad Hill. Sean Mannion, baby. Oh snap! Oh, he helps with the playbook. He holds the playbook super tight at an elite level. He helps Kirk Cousins practice for upcoming games. Um, let's see. William Thomas says, yes, why is Shamar Stephen still employed? We're treating him like he's Aaron Donald. I know. Because right now, let me actually bring this up. The Vikings salary cap as it stands right now. Uh According to spotrac.com. And I'm going to assume that this also takes into account the Anthony Barr restructure. But it looks like the Vikings have about 12.5 million in cap. If you were to, let's say, I mean, cut Shamar Stephen, there's nothing else to it. I honestly, I don't know why we're doing this right now. Shamar Stephen right now has the 8th highest cap hit on the team at 5 million, a little over 5 million. So we cut him, and we would then go from 12.5 to close to 15 million in cap. I have no idea why he's still on this team. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay. More thoughts. We'll do a few more. Um, that's right. We need a safety too. Dr. Stats 732 says sign Earl Thomas to a minimum deal. We need somebody. I saw Patrick Peterson. I think it was reported that he's willing to move to safety, but he also said that he wants to go to a team with a quarterback that can spin the rock. Kirk Cousins can do that, but I mean, I feel like it's so popular just to hate on Kirk Cousins that there's no chance that we even get a guy like Patrick Peterson. But that would be interesting. Um, let's see. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom. Nano Joe says they bring him back Sendejo. My God, I hope not. I hope not. Oh my God, please don't. Oh, we need someone who can actually cover. Oh, if we can't just keep just spinning the tires on old players. If we bring back, we already brought back Rashad Hill. If we then bring back Sean Mannion, which we will, and then we bring back Nick Easton, and then we bring back Andrew Sendejo. I mean, good Lord. And then Everson Griffin, why not? Just, just cap it off, put the cherry on top. Doom, doom. Chihuahua Production says, I think the Vikings are already trying to trade Hunter because all they talk about bringing in is a good edge rusher. Well, they were talking about that even before the whole Danielle Hunter situation, just because with guys like Afedio Denabo, they did sign Stephen Weatherly, which is nice. But if you want to have maybe just more competition, I can understand why the Vikings would still want to go edge. So I don't think the talk about them going edge in the draft had anything to do with Danielle Hunter not wanting to be here. But if he's not going to be here, then you really got to go edge. Tyler, trade Hunter, good kid. Let's get a Mac deal in return. If he's not willing to budge, then yeah, 100%. Steve Warren says, I still don't understand the assumption that Hunter will come back from his injury and play at his old level. I don't either. I really don't. I understand. I am never going to be the guy that tells a player that does a podcast and tell a player you need to take a pay cut. You need to restructure. You are making too much money. You make however much money that you can. We all got to hustle. It's more so on the players, or not the players, the team, the management, the front office, Rick Spielman. You guys need to make a move because you have all the control. So I'm not blaming Danielle Hunter if he wants more money, which apparently he does, but it doesn't mean the Vikings have to do it. Jake Fez says two first rounders for Danielle Hunter. Let's go. I can talk right now. Jesus. John Anderson TV says, how do you feel about the Vikings missing out on 2 guards in free agency already? Well, if they address it in the draft, then I'm all good. Elijah Vera Tucker, Wyatt Davis, let's call it a day. Let's see. Couple more of your thoughts. I mean, and there was that conspiracy theory too, where maybe he knows he's not 100% healthy, so he's trying to cash in right now. I'm not dismissing any conspiracy theory right now. Let's see. Any more moves? Refreshing the Twitter feed right now. And let's see, any big news? Drum roll. Nope. Nothing right now. So yeah, this is a very boring day. And it's funny with the free agency going on right now. It's one of those things where I always try to figure out when should I upload the video, because they could make a move today, they can make a move in the next 5 minutes. So you wait and wait and wait. And then if nothing happens, then it's kind of a bummer. And in fact, when it was reported earlier that the Vikings, they were interested in Griffin, Tooney, Trey Hendrickson, I got excited, just like I'm sure you guys did. And just in typical Vikings fashion, just as soon as you get excited, the roof comes crashing down. Danielle Hunter. Why, of all moments, you had to choose right now for your source to leak out that you're not happy right now? You can't let us have this happiness right now? All the thoughts of all these players that the Vikings can get. And the Danielle Hunter, he's like, yeah, I'm not happy right now. Like, damn, bro. Let us have a day. Let's see. We'll do one more. Jason T says, what round do you think Wyatt Davis goes? Injuries is pushing his stock down. I think he's a second rounder. Yeah. That would be interesting to see too. Is he ready to play football next season? What's his progression like right now? But I think he's a second rounder at worst case scenario. One more. I lied. I'll do one more. The Patriots, Avery says the Patriots are making big moves right now. Yeah, they are. They've signed basically everybody in free agency right now, which is, man, that's insane. Because the Patriots never do that. They never spend money outside of, there was that 1 year with Darrelle Revis where they signed him to like a 2-year insane contract, which they never do. But Darrelle Revis at the time was one of the top 10 players in the league. But they never do this. Eric Lopez says, love your videos, man. Skip from Mexico. I appreciate that. Let's see. Everyone. So one last question to you folks out there. How many of you, actually, no, because I've asked this already as far as how many of you are in the trade Danielle Hunter camp, but how many of you are not in the Danielle Hunter, let's trade him camp? How many of you want to keep him no matter what the cost? I want to hear from you folks out there. Julian Skull from Eagan, Minnesota. Randy, you're the man. I appreciate that. I appreciate all you folks out there. Come on. Speak up now. Who here? All right, Theorist. Theorist says keep Hunter. Okay. So are you in the camp of no matter what the cost? Explain your reasoning, please. We got a few more. Oh, y'all dudes are coming in hot. Oh, all right. So the reasoning behind it. Give your percentage that you're so sure and so confident that he's going to come back and be better than ever or be the same as he was before. Because I'm right now, to me, it's 50-50. I'm no doctor. I don't know shit. But to me, it's 50-50. And that is too big of a risk to make him the highest paid or one of the highest paid defensive players in the National Football League. David Jones says, keep him, but have incentives because of that neck injury. who says that he's going to agree to that? He may want it to be, 75% guaranteed. That sounds nice in theory. And I agree. If he agrees to something like that, sure. To where, some of that won't count against the cap. But who says he's going to agree to that? I think this dude is looking for a high ass base salary. Someone cool says, who will replace him? Who's going to replace him if he's not healthy? I mean, I don't know, man. Some more of your thoughts. Dylan says, dude is a monster. Dre has groomed a beast. He is a monster. He's coming off neck injury, though. Andre Patterson, he's a nice coach. I just hated the fact that he really sat there and said with a straight face, was it on camera or an article? I can't remember. Oh my God, where he basically said Eric Kendricks, part of the reason why he's an all-pro linebacker is because of Shamar Stephen. That blew my mind. Theorist says he's going to work out a reasonable extension with him in a couple months. We'll see, man. I think honestly, I feel like if I had to guess what's going to happen, I feel like the Vikings are going to end up trading him. I think they are. I would not be shocked. You remember when Stephon Diggs, when he tweeted out, it's time for new beginnings. And I want to say it was by the end of that day. So like 5 or 6 hours later, he was traded to the Bills. I would not be shocked if Danielle Hunter is traded, because based on how this sounds, he wants, and according to Chad Graff, he's exploring all his options, including a possible trade. He wants top dollar. And if that's his stance and he's not budging from it, I don't see how the Vikings can fold. I don't see how they say, okay, we'll just make this happen. I just don't see it. I think the Vikings are going to trade him this week. That's what I think. Because Instagram posts, your workout posts on Instagram, it doesn't do anything for me. And only if you get a nice haul in return. Not this whole idea of the Vikings, they have no leverage. He wants to get traded anyway. So we're going to offer a first and a player, or a first and a fifth, or whatever the hell. No, I want 2 first-round picks and a third. If you can get 3 first-round picks, that'd be great. And if you don't get that, then hey, sit out. Call his bluff. Sit on out. I don't think he'll do it. One more. The Chosen One says extending Kirk Cousins killed this team. I mean, until Shamar Stephen is off the team, I don't want to talk about any other player that needs to restructure, or any other player that the team should go after restructuring their contract. You still have Shamar Stephen on the team right now. If you had cleared Shamar Stephen's cap, you could have had more money to work with in free agency right now. Right now. Just cut him right now. What's stopping you? I don't want to talk about Kirk Cousins until Shamar Stephen is gone. That will be it today. If anything else happens, like if an official move happens with the team, then I'll go ahead and make a video podcast later today. This is going to be a wild week. So if anything happens, whenever it does, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining, everybody.